I know I end up getting distracted with the whole thing of flexible dieting. So this was the tangent that we're kind of going from. So flexible dieting is the concept of managing your calories and your macronutrients accordingly. Some people who track their macros, they're like really big on getting 200 grams of protein and being like super particular in that. When flexible dieting is kind of tracking your macros, but more in a wider range that's flexible. Because end of the day, your calorie range is what's going to matter, whether you're in a deficit or maintenance or a surplus. So having that kind of part. And then my biggest thing within that, because studies have shown whether it's like keto, low fat or high carbs and that, as long as your calorie balance is, say, in a deficit or whatever amount it is, versus those that are in high fat, low carb, or versus the other way, the fat loss is pretty much the same, whether you're keto or high carb. If the deficit is the same, the fat loss is pretty much the same, and protein is matched. So if you are going high carb, low carb, and then you change in this context, your deficit is still going to have the same amount of fat loss. But if you happen to have a low carb, then you have a high carb day and your weight goes up, weight gain and fat gain isn't the same thing. But if you have the data of you going, cool, I'm going this and I'm going down, and I still eat the same amount of calories, but I have a weight spike, but I know I had an extra 100 grams of carbs that day, or I ate out and there was more sodium, you can now make an educated guess that my weight is just simply spiked because of the carbs and the sodium and whatnot. I'm now not going to be negative and upset about the decision that I made because I'm still aligned. My intent is good. And then I just get back to it the next day. And this is like what I was saying before. If we just don't get upset about and stress about it, just go back to the plan, the weight will come back down. If we're still in that calorie deficit, whether it was high carb or not, we'll get back to that kind of plan and it will change. And we will be moving in the right direction. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really big on flexible dieting. Because one, we know is the thermodynamics of following in that context. But if we make a decision outside of our normal routine, because it's socially, culturally, this is, a lot of people don't realize there's science when it comes to nutrition, but there is socially, there's culture, there's other aspects around nutrition. It isn't just calories. Like, it's more complicated when we start to work in that aspect. But if we had that fluctuation, we can go, oh, this is why it's happened, and it can affirm why we've had a spike and not stress about it and then move on. So then we can just make a better decision with intent and move forward. And that's that's what I was trying to encompass before we got sidetracked. Why I'm so big on learning how to flexible diet, tracking your macros at least for a period of time, because then you will start looking at your bowl differently, because then you've made that and weighed it a few times. You know that this is so many carbs and protein or whatever that you have for your breakfast. This fits my day. If you're starting to train more, you can start to, okay, I probably could have some more fruit because I need some more carbs because I'm going to double up, or I'm going to go do a hike today. And the math side starts to kind of be more prevalent and take away the stress. But starting tracking your calories and macros in that context is overwhelming at first, and a lot of people don't commit to it longer than a few days because like, this fucking habit, this is annoying.
Yeah.
But if you can at least do 2 weeks and see the stuff, it's like jumping in an ice bath. The first 2 minutes suck.
Yeah, later it's easy.
After 3 minutes, 4 minutes is not too bad.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to like tracking calories and learning. The first 2 weeks is the hardest.
Yeah,
the
you just need to know, like in around, of course, will be not perfect, always will be different and everything, but it's still like you have general concept idea. And I think it's about everything. Like you can get like basic information what to do, right? Like whatever business you do, whatever things, like you need to have the 2 weeks. It's good timing, I think, like learn the basic, even use the ChatGPT, whatever. I basically use ChatGPT also about counting calories. Just make picture, count calories, just specific.
And it's a bit hard, but it can help, Yeah.
And
I've started using it because I went to Chester's the other day, Me trying to find that in in MyFitnessPal. There's
Yeah.
no way the Korean barbecue special meal thing was in there. In Australia, there's like a lot of fast food chains. You can actually find that meal stuff. Over here, it's very hard. So then I took a photo of it and I had a little conversation with the ChatGPT and kind of worked out some averages from that and then created it in MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
I know a normal person isn't going to do that because they don't care too much about it. They just go, that's all right. I'm eating this meal and moving on. But it obviously we're super interested in it and we'll kind of figure that out and how to calorie count and have an idea of that. Have you used ChatGPT to like write a whole like meal plan for you?
No, I just right now, like I said, I'm trying to be a like more carnivore diet. But for me in general, it's more about to know the source of the food, and I think the easiest way is the know the farmer, know the place. Even it'll be vegetables, but I know what kind of vegetables and I know what they use, the pesticide and everything. Then it's fine. I'm not like super strict about this one, but I wanna be more strict about the source, and I think it's what like right now because you cannot trust the label anymore. You know,
can't
like,
trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned about on Lazada with
man,
the
like
Celtic salt.
okay, like they can give to FDA one and what they'll be checking every like on the and even if they check and they'll be like wrong, what they give $1,000 penalty because like. Nothing happened, right?
A lot of protein powders, like I remember years ago, they got done for like amino spiking. Like so, even protein powders, they were just like adding like cheap amino acids to bump up the protein amount to fit the label, but it was poor quality.
Easy.
Yeah,
so easy.
So it's hard, and this is a big part of mine. Like I think it's good if you are training a lot, dive deeper into the micronutrients and all this information. Good because you want to try get those 1%ers, but if you aren't going to the gym regularly and you aren't kind of managing your diet in some context, don't even bother Googling it. You're wasting your time. A lot of people like to mentally masturbate over that stuff. It's like, you need to know where your calories are at and train consistently.
Yeah.
And it's not exciting. Like, obviously, when I'm talking about it, it's not exhilarating or hardcore because you want something that entices you or it's romantic and cool.
Yeah, the culture, but it's the same what you said about even the food and everything, right? And even you talk about alcohol and everything's the culture, right? And even about the fitness, it's culture, right? And it's the same thing. So for me, even the carnivore diet, it's become culture, right? Like people talk about this one, Joe Rogan, like some fighters and everything. Of course we have a vegan and everything, but it's still like a culture, right?
Yes.
And we have a Nick Diaz who Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, they smoke weed and they're like vegans or something like this. We still don't know, if it's 100% true and everything, right? So but at least there's some things what we need to consider, and that's what you mentioned. Like, it's always aspect about food is not everything. It's about why you do it, how you do it, how you feel about this one. If it does destroy your mental things, and I think it's the big factor, like the stress. If you stress about too much, and then you not enjoy even about this one, and you Google checking everything, and you wanna correct someone. That's what I did before. I still somehow trying to correct people or just say, but I don't do it with attention. I don't do it. I don't want to change people anymore. Like, they starting to do it first, like, oh, we need to do it this one, so they come with this one, so then I say something, right?
That's there's definitely where I am in the career too. Like, it's not my job to correct them. First of all, you're not paying me money. So if a friend of mine is like, I'm doing this and that, and if I don't agree with it, why am I getting involved with it and displaying all my knowledge and information on it? So that's something I've learnt. Save my energy and time. But two, if that person has gone from no longer eating KFC and drinking beer and they're going to the gym, then that's a big change in the right direction. It doesn't matter if it's fucking right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend in one of our group chats. He's now doing a high rep training program. I'm not a big fan of high rep training and training for 2 hours in the gym. But he's gone from not training that often to now doing this stuff. I'm just going to be like, you go, dude. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You're making changes.
Yeah.
Then from there, he may get bored of it and he wants to optimize it. That's when you can start looking at it.
You need to allow people make the somehow mistake, but it's like you said, from zero to this one.
You got to fuck around and find out.
and it's